it seemed to all work really well for us because
it literally,
most of us
you can't create one on
were
YouTube.
like up
You have
in
to
the
create
high
it through Streamlabs.
percentages.
Oh my
So we
god, it's so
got
dumb.
a lot of use out of it,
All right.
but
So
a lot
we
of
actually
people take the test and get 50-50 on all four letters and it does nothing.
So we should be
My
like,
problem, my biggest problem,
Are we?
one of my biggest problems with it is like you
Where's
get
the TV
four
channel?
letters and then people run around saying I'm INTJ,
can you?
and that like it's deep and meaningful. We don't know to what degree they are each dimension,
This is upcoming.
So they
and
say the number
Then go
after
back.
each letter.
and then what we have is basically what almost amounts to a horoscope.
Watch it.
It's supposed to describe everyone who has
Can we actually speak? Can they hear us?
it's basically a horoscope.
We got to get the.
It's supposed to describe everyone who has those four letters.
Oh.
It's an approximation.
Whoops.
You were to divide the population.
Yo, yo, yo.
I don't know if there's anybody yet in the chat.
Yo, I'm gonna check right now.
You might want to keep the mic on closer to the mic, your mic, because just so that it doesn't get feedback on.
This here?
Well, because you're gonna hear the chat through the mic. If you want, I guess if you want the people on YouTube to hear them.
Yeah, I don't
Totally.
mind that.
Okay.
So they can know what's good. They can know what's up.
Talking with famous people. I don't know. I haven't. Certainly not. Also, sorry for those folks that that were waiting. Apparently, Streamlabs, you have to create a separate link
Yeah.
through Streamlabs. You can't use YouTube, which is strange. So, to say the least. But anyway, just glad that everything's working and that we're live, basically.
Yes, indeed. So let me get these guys all squared away here.
Yeah, so just for the record, for those of you just coming in, the Discord for a certain page that Terrence is a big fan of, they are...
Hey guys, hey guys. So
He's trying to corral them.
we got the YouTube up right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and link you all to the channel, and we'll begin here in a little bit.
Spam the chat. We're going to have a doink chat, guys.
Yes, warn them that everything is being recorded right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Anything they say, will be used
you in the
against
court of
them
law.
in the court of. I don't know. I'm trying to think about funny court, but yeah, we're waiting on those folks to come in. This is technically for them. I'm kind of just here, just to appease them.
Okay,
So,
guys.
While Terrence is, those are his boys.
So can you folks hear me loud and clear? Okay, guys. And Juan, you do a little test. I want to see if they can hear you from there.
Yeah, sure.
Can
Yeah, I'm sure they can.
Can you
there's
guys
there's
hear
a little
Juan?
bit of latency.
Go ahead and give
That's
me
why.
a yes or no.
Yeah, I'm sure they can hear me. Are they trying to hear me? Dude, I can hear myself on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like it's coming through on you.
Yeah, I had to close it off.
But they
But can you guys hear Juan right now? Go ahead and say yes or no. Juan, give a check.
what's up?
No or yes?
Hear me through what? Through Discord?
Yeah, because the Discord is coming through the phone.
Oh, gotcha.
All right,
gotcha.
folks.
Yeah,
So
put it
we've
in the
got a
middle.
really ghetto setup here with a bunch of devices up right now. So we're gonna try to make this as smooth as possible.
Mhm.
But
Smooth.
yeah, guys. So
Like criminals.
thanks, folks, for coming out. We are the Eigenbros. My name is Terrence, and
My name is actually legal name redacted because I don't want to be found. I want to remain anonymous.
Well, it's too
throughout
late
this.
if you're worried about that.
Oh, what? Are you serious? No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. Yeah, thank you for those of you in the chat,
In the Discord
in
chat.
the Discord chat.
Yeah. Can you guys see the YouTube video as well? Okay.
We're gonna say yes. There's a little bit of latency,
Okay.
but
cool.
but yeah, those guys seem funny to me.
Yeah.
yeah,
They were
some-
making some nice jokes and whatnot.
Yeah. That,
Yeah, and the YouTube actually doesn't look too bad here. Good.
no. Mostly because the lighting is really good.
Yeah, yeah.
So
But yeah, so I guess let's go ahead and start, Juan. So we're
Sure.
kind of MBTI enthusiasts. There's a lot of
Uh-huh.
smart people in the Discord chat for sure. who-
true. They were talking about Big Five.
Yeah, yeah. So that's
I don't know what that is. Is that like the big five curse words that are like famous?
the big 5 fingers to the face.
Yeah, the Big Five. Somebody said that there are more papers published on the Big
Yeah,
Five.
yeah. So it tends to be that psychologists go with the big 5 normally,
So
right?
let's talk about the Big Five first.
Yeah, so it's got the dimensionality of, I think it is agreeableness. There is the dimension of openness. There's the dimension of neuroticism. There is the dimension of, what is it? I forget all the ones. Maybe we should even pull it up. But Big 5 tends to be the one that people go with, it seems, in the psychology community. Of course, we're not psychologists. Just for the audience, we're physicists. So we have no expertise at all in this, and this is more of
Yeah.
just a hobby thing for us.
Yeah, lowly physicist too.
Yeah.
No, nothing too crazy.
But yeah, was somebody going to say something?
They were.
Okay, yeah, I heard
There's
I
quite a
heard
bit
some
of
beeps.
latency, so yeah, they're
Yeah.
not going to be able. If you have something to say it in the chat. But that's pretty.
Yeah, that would be
that's
ideal.
pretty much live on the YouTube.
and then
one.
you won't be recorded as well.
Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, so MBTI, basically what it is a typing system for personalities. I'm sure that you guys are aware. And make sure you guys also take that test. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can throw that
Drop the
16
link.
personalities test in the YouTube as well.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I kind of wanted to say, because somebody had brought it up in the discussion, they said it doesn't seem as dynamic as the Big Five.
As a Big 5.
Yeah, but the thing is, this chat, Aaron, there you go. They were saying it's not as dynamic, but the thing is, there are a couple people in the community, particularly I think Dave Superpowers, who's now they call their channel Objective Personality. They are working on
OPS, I believe.
OPS.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means, but
Objective personality system, I think.
Gotcha. I thought it meant other people's something. Special. I don't know. Terrence is trying to get the chat going or something. Or,
Yeah, I'm trying to throw it into.
So he's not able to participate. But anyway, they're trying to work on making an objective personality typing system that is mainly centered around establishing a, how would you say?
It's a more objective way of typing people. So it was good that
I was trying not to be redundant, but yeah.
Yeah, it was good that I heard in the Discord chat a lot of people were saying that there's a well-known fact with MBTI is that the testing system is not so great.
It's
and
not.
I think the reasoning behind that is what we've come to the conclusion of. I know what we say, Juan, is because a lot of people want to ideally type themselves. So they love to type themselves in the way that they want to be a lot of times. And also, I just don't think people really know themselves that well. And it's kind of hard to type yourself in an accurate way. So really what Dave Superpowers tries to strive for is an objective typing system where, let's say, ideally you can have, let's imagine you had 3 typologists, let's say, some experts who understood MBTI really well. You could have 3 of them in each different rooms, and then they observe you. You can even have video or something, and they just do it at another point in time. But the ideal would be to have someone observe you
At your most intimate moments, in the restroom, in the shower. Please send that footage over to. I'm just kidding. No, but
anyway,
so they look at you in your natural setting, right?
Yeah, so people can observe you, and then they actually they want to have a rubric where you can basically check off in a very what would you say, in a very consistent and logical way what the person's type is.
Right.
That system does not exist, but I believe that is really one of the biggest reasons why MBTI is not so good. But then, of course, you're comparing it to Big 5. I think Big 5 is known to be better just from the fact that it has more of a higher statistical consistency than MBTI does. But speaking from a strictly non-expert point of view, I don't really find it as powerful, it seems, in typing just from an anecdotal experience than MBTIs. So I've noticed that most times when I've typed people with MBTI after they have gotten the test, taken several times enough, you start to see very clear patterns. Of course.
So your approach is like a very almost a global average in a way, right? Like
global is very
okay, but you take it at different times, right? In your life. And
yeah.
you
So
score
one way to
persistently.
so one way to get past the whole point of mistyping yourself is to take the test many times. So with me, when I first started MBTI, I probably took the test about 10 times. I don't believe anybody's MBTI until they've taken the test like 10 times and from different places. Because you just really don't know the system and you don't know yourself well enough to honestly be able to type yourself accurately, I believe.
Right.
But
especially the younger you are, I think, the more impressionable you lend yourself to.
yeah,
to
well,
skew.
there's flaws either way.
Yeah.
So when you're younger, you tend to skew in a very naive way, but then when you're older, you kind of have worked on yourself so much that you might
Gotcha.
skew in a different way because of that.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So the thing is, people also have a problem with saying, I've changed in my past. I'm not the same person. My personality type is not the same. And that is not really true. In the MBTI system, at least, it seems from what I've noticed that everyone has a set type. So they're not so much the same person. It's that your dimensions. So you have 4 dimensions in MBTI. There's the extroverted, introverted, intuitive, sensing, thinking, feeling, judging, perceiving dimensions. Those dimensions shift over time. And that shifts due to something called the cognitive functions. So the cognitive functions are basically a layer deep in MBTI off of the surface realm of just I, E, N, S, T, F, P, J dichotomies.
Right. And most people actually get offended when they score a feeling type or something. They, most most of them are like, "What?
Right.
I'm rational." And it's
Right,
like,
right.
no, that's not to say you're not rational.
Yeah. But yes, and also, Ron, can you make sure and see what the commenters are saying so we're not completely just talking
No,
by
yeah.
ourselves as well?
No, yeah.
Did people have any questions in the comments specifically?
Yeah, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments.
Yeah,
we'll,
for
we'll
sure.
be looking at them. But
But
no,
do you see
nothing,
any? I can't even
no,
read it,
nothing so
man.
far.
But-
Someone said, Black Thought said, the 4 dimensions, 3 spatial and time. Of course. Quite literally, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So
But yeah, I also heard mentioned in Discord there was a false dichotomy.
But that's what I mean. Like on the surface layer, it may look like it is a binary system. You're either extroverted or introverted, but it's more nuanced than that.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
like it's a spectrum basically, like most things in life are. And I don't think they're a false dichotomy in a sense. Well, yeah, I don't think it's a false dichotomy. I think it's just that a lot of people get stuck into saying, I'm an ambivert because, I like to go out and also stay inside. I'm not saying that's what their argument is, but the system is more nuanced than you may think, and the more you look into it, I think once you really start to understand the system is when you go into the cognitive functions.
Well, yeah, let me make a clarification too. I think some people they kind of bring in preconceived notions about what they think, feeling, the term feeling is, and the term
Sure.
thinking is, and the term, how would you say, extroverted and introverted are.
Mhm.
The thing is in MBTI, at least the framework of MBTI is that when you say you're given a lead extroverted function, like for you, that just means the way you are spending most of your mental energy on, like.
Well, I think it's where you get your energy from mostly.
Sure.
So like extroverts, they tend to get energy from people, and introverts tend to use their energy on people. So it's like it's basically like, where do you get charged and where do you get drained from? So if you're an introvert, you get drained from interacting with people, and then if you're an extrovert, you actually get charged from interacting with people. But that's also the top layer, the surface layer. It gets even more interesting really with the cognitive functions, because the cognitive functions are basically like the real MBTI, in my opinion.
Exactly, yeah.
Because then you can actually really see the distinctions between people. So let's give an example. So let's say if you're my type is ENTP. So let's say if you're an ENTP, NE would be the leading function, and that stands for extroverted intuition. So if you have extroverted intuition, you see that the cognitive function itself has an attitude, which means it's either introverted or extroverted.
Mm-hmm.
And extroverted and introverted can mean different things depending on the function.
Yeah.
But it means usually extroverted can mean either objective, divergent.
What do you mean by objective?
Yeah, this is where we're getting into the weeds a bit. I want to kind of keep this a little bit surface level in some ways, but extroverted. You said what is?
It's more about
objective
to me.
mean?
Extroverted means that you're more. It's a function that's you're taking more of the present. Sorry.
It's operating in the external world basically.
Yeah.
An introverted function being subjective, meaning that it's operating within the subject.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't mean what, and people get confused by that as well by thinking that objective means that it means has something to do with objective reality versus subjective reality. Yeah, which is not really the case as well. Can you check those comments there, Juan?
Yeah,
see what they're saying.
Someone redacted their messages, but nothing so far.
Ooh, I want
but
to see
someone
the
said
redacted
Bubble Puppy says it seems that extroverted functions are generative, whereas introverted functions are consuming.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. I'll let you ponder that one.
Yeah, there is some weird thing. We were talking about this the other day, Juan,
Yeah.
about extroverted versus introverted functions.
Mm-hmm.
Extroverted functions seem fast. Like if you think of all the extroverted functions, NE, FE, TE, SE, they're all fast. And I think that has to do with the fact that they're looking at things at the surface in some way. It's like you automatically you're just seeing what you see.
Yeah.
And then reacting off of that. Whereas introverted functions are always very slow, it looks like, because they're more contemplative. It's like they're ingesting some information somehow.
Right. That's the impression I get too.
Yeah.
That it's more of a processing, a filtering process of information, as opposed to the extroverted functions are more taking a snapshot of what's happening in the now. So
they're like either acting in the now, seeing what they see in the now, something like that.
For instance, an example, extroverted feeling types characterized as people who, I think if you look at the dominant extroverted feelers, meaning that they lead, their main function is that.
Right, so let's clarify that a little bit. So you have the 4 cognitive functions in your main stack, basically. And that means that you'll have, so for instance, with mine again, ENTP as an example, my main stack would be extroverted intuition. My secondary function would have introverted thinking. My tertiary would be extroverted feeling. And then my inferior function would be introverted sensing. They can't see that.
I'm writing with my left hand. Let's see if I can do it.
And then it's all our crap
they can't
algebra
see that,
too, so they don't want to see all that. But
it's all this
so you have an order in which you utilize your functions. And that order doesn't really change, but the strength of each function can change. So let's say you'll never be able to utilize your secondary function better than your primary function.
You'll never be as good.
That's what I mean.
As somebody who,
yeah,
I think you can utilize them, but it's like you'll never be as great as somebody who's naturally.
Well, I'm saying I don't even think you'll be able to utilize it better than your own primary function, because your primary function or your savior function,
quote unquote savior function,
is the strongest function you have. You're not ever going to supersede that with any of the other functions. So
this is a thing. This is kind of going into the weeds of. Somebody said it's like handedness, and someone also. Okay, we're getting people talking about this here.
Okay.
We got Aaron say, I feel like people will say I'm an INTJ. You can have a lot in common with people you're very close to dimensionally, but that we're on the border and less in common with people in your MBTI category.
I think maybe on the surface. Another thing I like to say with MBTI, why it's a static personality typing system, is because you do strengthen yourself as you get older, but I think a more accurate image of what you are is when you think back to what you were as a child. It's more of like your innate scent or your innate self. You do a lot of work over time as you get older to strengthen your inferior functions up and down to where you start to look like other types.
Yeah.
But you also have the false perception a lot of times of thinking that you're as good as someone who may be another type, but you're almost like a weaker version of that type if you're focused on being another type in some sense. Does that make sense at all?
Yeah,
I don't know if I said it in a fucked up kind of way.
I did that in my undergraduate. I tried to be like a quote unquote ENTJ.
Yeah.
I dressed the part. I
Mhm,
wore like very formal clothing, very nice fitting clothing, and you could tell that I was trying way too hard into flipping myself into be something more of a doer in a sense.
And can we mention your type at all or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm an INTP, so
Yeah.
just me and Terrence share our same function stack, meaning that we have access to the same functions.
Yeah.
But the
tertiary-
orders are different.
Yeah, our
Our leads are different, and our
everything's flipped.
Everything's flipped.
Okay, yeah, everything's flipped.
Yeah.
But we have the same two primary functions, just in different orders.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Juan's shadow type would be the NTJ, and that's kind of the type that you would like to ideally be to complete yourself. It's like this weird kind of yin yang.
Yeah.
And but we've noticed this anecdotally to be pretty consistent. I had the same thing with myself as well. ENTP, my shadow type being INTJ. So a lot of times you can try to portray that, and that's the kind of type that will complete that completes you in some sense. That you feel is like your yin to your yang in some sense.
Exactly. Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah, but well, let's not shit on ENTJs or INTJs here.
No. I'm just saying, like it makes me feel like I get more done if I put myself in that.
Oh
mindset.
yeah.
It's great. It's great. No,
But
not
yeah.
to say.
So there's definitely something to strengthening your inferior functions and whatnot. And I think that's what kind of skews people, and that's why you see certain types that might be the same type, or what they call the identity, where they look different in some sense, because people can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
You can have touchy-feely types like, let's say, the INFP being
Very rational.
very rational people. There's many examples of them in real life. So you're not limited in MBTI to some doomed fate, that you can only be this one regimented type that fits your stereotype. There are different versions of all types, and that really depends on your life experience. And that's kind of where the individuality in MBTI comes. But that's also what makes it so powerful, is because you do have this static MBTI type, yet you can still kind of be very personalized with that sliding spectrum of cognitive functions.
Yeah. So, but now I've had problems with you saying the stacks or whatever, the functions are static, because I think in some way it's a little bit more dynamic, meaning that like you can put more energy in a certain amount of time. Like, for instance, me doing this podcast, I'm an introverted type. I am, because I get most of my energy from just thinking and sorting my own thoughts or whatever. It could be
sleepy bastard.
I am what the objective personality typing system would call a sleep first kind of person. And all that means is that
that's your guess, though, because we don't really know any of that sleep, play, consume, blast stuff.
But that's like, if you want to get more on the terminology of that, you can go ahead and go to
Dave Superpower's objective personality system or something. OPS.
But it's subjective personality. And they go ahead and go into detail about this kind of stuff. But I've seen this. I've seen it adds another dimension of how would you say, it allows more dynamic to your personality, or describes a little bit more.
What does?
The Dave Superpowers system, the objective personality typing system.
Let me comment on that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if anybody here has watched Dave Superpowers or the objective personality typing system, but Dave allows for you to have two cognitive functions with the same attitude. Meaning, let's say if you're an INTP, he's going to say that you can have TI, which is introverted thinking, and you can have like NI, introverted intuition, in the two primary stacks. And or maybe it's SI. Yeah, maybe SI.
So for me, it would be like my leading function coupling to my using my third function in a sense.
Yeah,
like,
his tertiary function is introverted sensation.
Yeah.
I don't agree with this because I just don't think
you don't, but I do.
No, so I don't think so, because I just can't. I don't think you can be a. I don't think it makes sense to me, because if you have two introverted functions aligned, that means you're never really looking at the objective world.
Yeah. Yeah, it's possible.
So maybe it's possible in some weird
It's
unhealthy
possible,
state.
and I've been through that. Yeah,
But I don't
I've had
think you could survive doing that. It doesn't
No.
really make sense in my opinion.
No, of course not. It's not a healthy state. I'm saying it's a state that's accessible to you.
But I'm
meaning-
thinking that would have to be such a pathological state. It would basically be like a schizophrenic or schizotypal
think-
type of weird ass person.
I think the extreme versions can get to that point, but I think because a natural flow, meaning that the way the functions would naturally kind of go. So yeah,
They're writing jumpers.
Yeah, jumpers.
Yeah, I don't like even talking about jumpers because people in the
So,
MBTI community
yeah.
get obsessed with jumping and looping, and I'm like, learn the
So-
normal system first.
So let me just say this: I think Terrence, you're more comfortable with because you feel like it's a natural flow, like it's a stack of how information flows through the system.
right, it's very
But the
balanced
thing is,
and it makes
sure.
sense.
But the
in
thing
my
is,
opinion.
but I'm saying if that's the default state, then by all means, yeah, that's probably the ground state, so to say. That's like the system at the lowest energy. It doesn't take any energy to put yourself in that configuration. But I will say that sometimes I can get caught into a sort of what some people call looping, I guess, or jumping or something, where you will lock into a certain type of thinking or get into a certain type of mindset, I guess you could say.
This may be true, but I think these kind of states are. I think they're temporary states.
Yeah, they are. I'm
don't-
not saying they're I'm
Yeah.
not saying you're like that forever. I'm saying that this kind of flexibility within MBTI allows you to, at least explains for me some things that I've seen within my own personality.
Okay, maybe
You know what
that's
I'm
true,
saying?
but I don't. But then in the Dave superpower system, it would be saying that this is a normal state.
No,
I think it's
no,
a
no.
pathological
I don't
state.
think. I don't think he's saying it's normal. I think he's saying that you.
I
Can
think
get,
he is because they have categorized 512 different types, and they're saying that those are like the states that each person can be in.
Sure.
I think if you're gonna categorize pathologies alongside MBTI, then maybe you can say that. But I don't think that should be in the base typing system. I think it's too
But then again,
too weird.
Yeah,
and,
but then
and,
but
and
then
an
your
outlier.
but then your system would argue that this is more of a. You're arguing more that most people fall into a default state of being, but there's enough. The brain is so plastic, in meaning that you can mold it in such a weird way that you can, I think, get neuroses and stuff naturally. You know.
Sure, but yeah. Regardless, I think it's something to consider after you understand the normal system.
Yeah.
So the MBTI system is not fully developed, I don't think, and I think it could use a lot more interesting and smart people on it. I think there's validity to it from what I've just noticed anecdotally, and I've been doing MBTI for like probably about 15 years just for fun.
I read it in the back of a milk carton one time, and just for fun. I'm kidding. I was eating breakfast cereal, and I was like, "Oh, this is interesting. MBTI. What is this about?"
Yeah, but it's
so 3 minutes.
it's interesting for sure.
Yeah.
3 minutes.
No, in 3 minutes, I learned all this stuff about MBTI.
When did we start, by the way, so we can keep track of the time?
28 minutes ago.
And we got some people. Are you reading the comments, Juan? I can't really see too well. I see INTP.
My
gang.
man's got glaucoma, dude. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, we're fine.
Okay, yeah, INTP gang, good shit.
Yeah. Somebody
That's
said
what Black Thought says. He's
somebody
INTP, huh?
said, "Damn, now you got me questioning if I'm pretending to be ENFJ." Oh, okay. You might be a psychopath. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, I love people. No, I'm just kidding. No, but yeah, I think people tend to get caught up in this stuff. Hold on. Why do you think anecdotes are a good way of assessing construct
validity.
That's here's the thing.
A little bit of a loaded question,
Yeah, but here's the thing though.
but valid question.
Valid question. But here's the thing. You're taking, unfortunately, there needs to be more rigorous studies.
Yeah.
Well,
Rigorous development, I think, really. I think MBTI needs more rigorous
no,
development.
because you need to fact check. You need to, you know what I mean? You need to, how would you say, empirically show that these certain things that are seen, anecdotally probably, that are true across big sample sizes.
I agree, but the thing is, I think the system is fucked up as it is. And that's because
MBTI, you're saying?
yes, because people are self-typing and people suck at knowing what they are. Especially in the beginning, I notice people always type themselves, and Dave and Shannon have noticed this as well. People type themselves upside down. Someone who's messy as fuck, when they clean their room one day, they think they're the most organized person on earth. So you have to be able to make an objective typing system where you have enough people, and the experiments are so well done that you can legitimately get with a statistical, with how could I say it? A statistically significant result, very consistently, to where you're going to always get these kind of types when you have, like, let's say 10 people objectively seeing someone.
Gotcha.
So there needs to be a more rigorous objective typing system. The subjective typing system doesn't work, I don't think. People just don't understand how to use the test, and they don't know how to type themselves, because we all have these blind spots, and you can see this in the real world. When you see people in the real world, you're like, why is this person acting like this? I don't even get how they don't notice these things. It's because you can't see outside of yourself in these weird ways. You clearly have blind spots.
Mm-hmm.
So the subjective nature of MBTI, I think, is what really hurts it. And I think if there was better objective typing systems as well as objective typing criteria, then I think the system would flourish more so.
Right. So
we saw a lot of comments coming in.
Yeah. So we got Daniel. He said, how would you further the development of MBTI?
So the way I would further develop MBTI is to have, so I would love more single cognitive function tests, and ones that had a high yield of percentages based on, or high yield of statistical significance based on certain very small or interesting tasks. So let's say if you wanted to test someone against introverted thinking versus extroverted thinking, I would love to just see an exam or a checklist or something with like maybe 60 plus questions where you're just checking someone on their introverted thinking versus extroverted thinking. And if it was also made in a way that was objective as well. So let's say if you had a test that you could give to, let's say if you wanted to have an actual research study, you could give to 10 people, and then they could look at certain things and give people certain tests that gave very clear answers to things. That's kind of a tall order for, anything that has to do with people and psychology. Because that's just tough, right? Psychology is all messed up because it's just, people are so complicated. But I think if you did focus on single cognitive functions and tried to get it that way, that would be the way to go, because once you've gotten one cognitive function, you get another for free. So with people who are not familiar, MBTI is structured in such a way where if you know one of the cognitive functions, you automatically know another one.
There's a sort of parity.
Narrows things down.
Yeah, there's a sort of parity rule with a lot of the functions. In a sense, they serve to balance the other function. So if you have one function, there's necessarily another opposite function that's supposed to make it a complete whole. And
you get these weird kind of contradictions if you have another, if you try to fit in the other one.
We've done
anecdotal, all this stuff. When we say tested, it's all anecdotal.
Well, we've discussed this in a way that made, like, we're like, okay, well, you start playing around with toy models, as physicists do all the time. Say, for instance, if you were to have a introverted thinking person with introverted feeling. Now, the natural order in MBTI says that you're supposed to have introverted. Anytime you have introverted thinking, you necessarily have an extroverted feeling. Right. Now, they can argue this in some psychological evolutionary thing. You could probably go down that rabbit hole. I don't know.
I don't even know if you could do that. It's pretty deep.
It is, but the thing is, if you look at if it were supposed to be, for instance, an introverted thinking and a person that had introverted feeling,
which is not an MBTI type that
exists. How would that look like?
It would look very odd. I would think
you would see a person that behaved like how.
So I guess that would have to. So it would replace the feeling somehow, right?
Well, no, you're no longer caring about what other people might be.
I don't even know. I'd have to think about that one. But
to me, for instance, it would look like literally a robot. It would never. You would never be. You would never.
I don't know what that means.
You would have no. You're moved by your own. How would you say? Rationalizations and your feelings and stuff, but they're all very subjective. They're all very, like, depending on how you order things. I would imagine.
Have to think about that.
I would imagine
more.
Like a
That's
Terminator kind of situation, where you're like,
I don't know.
I must get to the job. I don't know. I haven't seen any of the.
I don't know.
Terminators.
I don't know. I think it's kind of harder to say what that would look like. We've formed like these Frankenstein types before, but I've never thought about that one. I'd have to think more on that one.
Yeah, that's my take. You would never really see somebody like that. But again,
what are some of the other questions in the comments? Let's interact more with the audience.
So someone else says, "What do you think Eric Weinstein is?" By the way?
What's his personality type?
Yeah,
I think I'm pretty damn certain that Eric Weinstein is an ENTP.
he's projecting, bro. Don't listen to him. Psychology uses.
No, I'm pretty damn certain Eric's an ENTP. I think that's why I like him so much.
Aaron Hall says the categories describe some meaningful amount of variance themselves, but combining them into the types and interpreting the whole is not statistically warranted.
Wait, go back to that. The categories describe some meaningful amount of variance themselves, but combining them into the types and interpreting the whole is not statistically warranted. Okay.
Well, he's using quotations, so I'm not sure.
Want more
if he's
rigor?
citing
Big
something.
5.
There we go. Definitely, it's poorly collected. So why did you say that then about anecdotes being okay? So they're arguing amongst each other. You don't do science by having more and more anecdotes. And then Aaron says science has left MBTI behind. Here's the thing. There's some grain. Well, it's true that you can't build models off of anecdotes.
Yeah.
But
the thing is, psychology is like so much.
But hold on.
Go ahead.
You make this distinction because you build enough data points to build a model, right? So anecdotes to me are statistical variance, meaning your anecdotes to me don't fit any model. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not enough data. Like when you're talking about
anecdotes are just anecdotes. They don't mean anything unless there's some kind of experimental backing to it, right?
Right, but I'm saying, like somebody in there, I think Black Thought said that that's how you pretty much begin modeling data, and I would agree with him on that. But then again, it goes back to you need to collect more data.
Yes,
but the thing is, Aaron says that the scientific community has left MBTI.
Yeah, I get that because the thing is MBTI is not really easy to measure. It's like the thing is that's the biggest problem really with psychology in my opinion. I think almost nothing in psychology. Well, I won't make that claim. That's bad, but psychology tends to be very unconvincing a lot of times to me because humans tend to not fit well in many models. And yeah, maybe Big 5 is more useful statistically, which is better science for sure. But for me, MBTI is like a fun system. So if that could somehow get to a level where it can be developed enough, maybe I could see MBTI being more serious in the future if somehow there was more of a rigor to psychology. But I only think that the rigor in psychology is really going to get there once we have neuroscience to the point where you can actually predict these things in a very meaningful way by looking at, let's say, like EEG scans or something.
Sure.
Really understanding how the brain works and how the brain differentiates between personality types. And a guy named Dario Nardi actually did that kind of thing with EEG scans, but it's very rudimentary still. But I think
it's fake. No, I'm just kidding.
But I think you just need better neuroscience coupled to psychology to really be able to get to this level, to get to a better MBTI system. Big 5 is cool, but I tend to like MBTI more. It seems more powerful, anecdotally at least.
Yeah. Hey, Javon. Hey, Karina. Hey.
Oh shit.
Yeah, Javon. Long time no see.
Wow, Javon in the house.
So someone added, there's an attempt to transition diagnosis whenever possible, but lots of behaviors only manifest themselves behaviorally. And then Daniel says anecdotes are subject to confirmation bias.
Yep.
And yeah, but
Big
also
5
Aaron
replicates.
Yeah. So I guess Aaron, you mean Big 5 is empirically they have more data on it. I would suspect that's kind of what you're saying. And
what does Bubble Puppy say? MBTI doesn't need to be anecdotal if you're able to administer cognitive tests for each function, similar to IQ.
Oh, but IQ even has.
Yeah, this is the thing. That's why I think people is hard, right? IQ tests suck. Every psychology test I've seen kind of sucks. I've
They
not
all
really
have
been very
limitations.
convinced.
I mean,
yeah.
they're all testing certain things, right?
Yeah. Psychology is just too hard.
Here's the thing. Somebody asked how you maybe you could improve this kind of thing because taking tests like this is so inherently subjective about trying to analyze yourself. I think a good way to frame questions a lot of the time, because you know this in, I think when you take, what is it? I forget what class you have to take in undergrad, but there's a class that tells you how to set up the important part of a study is how to also ask the question. So for instance, and I think somebody else said this as well in the Discord, but I think I think
people miss the mark a lot of times in
how to ask the questions.
People studies, yeah.
They
ask the wrong questions
for sure.
So many times.
I would say it helps more to say, how do people perceive you? How are you perceived in some way? Do you know what I'm saying? Because that helps you get a sense of how people objectively observe you in some sense, right? Meaning, if the question asks, how would you say people, like, what do people say about you, this and that, like, and then you either whatever, you put yourself on a scale. I'm not making this test, but this is just an idea on how to ask these questions better.
I should probably check the Discord to make sure we're still connected as well.
Aaron also expanded on it. He said, replicating meaning, when I do a study, I confirm Big Five. I do a study on IQ, I replicate the findings. There's reproducibility. Oh, he's saying there's a reproducibility crisis in psychology. Big Five and IQ always replicate. So
let me check the Discord as well to see if there's any comments.
Probably. I mean, Big Five probably. Like, there probably is more
Peace,
going
man.
on.
We are reading the chat now. Sorry. If you go to the YouTube, it's much better. I've been neglecting you guys.
Ooh. Yeah.
We have so many devices open. It's like, this is our first live stream, so this is kind of rough. But bear with us. Thank you guys for being here.
Sorry. Yeah. But yeah.
Maybe we should actually start wrapping it up and get some questions too, because it's been almost an hour, hasn't it?
It's like 42 minutes.
And guys, put your MBTI types. I want to see what you all are out. What everybody is out there.
No, hold on. But I feel like Aaron.
Start throwing them in.
But we're not done with Aaron though.
Oh yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
But he says Big Five and IQ always replicate.
Damn, I didn't TP life.
But the thing is, Big Five. Here's the thing. Like, there might be a sense of the community might lean on Big Five more, also because of the simplicity of it. Now, MBTI.
Well, I think that neuroticism dimension also really helps.
Yeah.
Because that neuroticism is so telling, I think, and it's better statistically, I would believe. I think it has a lot more fruit to it on paper for sure. That's just my guess, but I'm not entirely sure, because all the other dimensions of Big Five also kind of parallel MBTI in some weird ways too. I've noticed. Yeah, but I think the neuroticism one gives it a lot more.
So there's an extra dimensionality.
To it.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Not sure though. That's my thought. It seems like it would be more fruitful for statistical data.
Sure.
We got some trolls in chat.
Hold the microphone to the.
It's discrete, or at least usually presented as discrete. Like, people want to say, I'm INTF, or they don't want to say, I'm 64% neurotic, 74% extroverted. I mean, that's a mouthful. Like, maybe there was a more condensed way of saying your. And also people want to say that they have a type. Like, this is my type. As opposed to, like, so that way you can give a concrete description. Like, if you're INTP, then that means you're like this and this and this and this. But they don't really do that for Big Five. It's just, okay, here's a description of each different trait.
I see. That's a good comment. So maybe people are very hesitant about MBTI, I've noticed, because of the whole stereotypical nature of it.
Yeah.
You get lumped into these categories and people are like, fuck that, man. You can't tell me who I am, which I get for sure, right? Because people are like, how are you going to condense my whole life experience down into one type? But that's where I think the power of MBTI lies.
But this is, I think, why Big Five is better to use in certain aspects of.
Because it doesn't make a claim.
Because it's just like, boom, like factual information about somebody, how to work if you're working.
It's more
with somebody.
scientific. But MBTI is better for
meaning I don't know. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean it has more science backed on it, but I'm gonna say that we lean on it more probably because it's simple and it's like it tells you right away what kind of aspects of somebody's personality, like just from 5 dimensions.
Right,
You
right.
know what I mean? Like simple. If you hear like somebody is INTP or
hold on one sec.
somebody's INTP or ISFJ or something, you're gonna be like, what? What are you talking about?
All right.
It's a lot less approachable.
The context of the Myers-Briggs, I appreciate the context of it, but the only thing I would like to suggest about it, to take it with a grain of salt, is that it's a 2-dimensional spread, and there's going to be interdimensional relationships to that. That will definitely affect the overall aspect of how it defines everything in totality.
I didn't quite understand that.
I think I'm in agreement with you.
Okay.
I don't know. That sounded more like a factual statement.
I think I would probably prefer Big Five if I was a scientist. Let's say if I was a psychologist, because I think you could get more fruitful data from that. But since I'm not a psychologist and MBTI is more for fun, and I find it more powerful in normal life, I think that's why I like MBTI so much. And I think you also get way more in terms of your own personal growth with MBTI, because I can actually use this tool in real life. I can type people just by speaking to them, and at least get, maybe if I'm not even on the mark, at least get a rough draft of them if I can pick out maybe 2 of their cognitive functions. Well, 1, because then you get the others free. But if I can pick out even 1 of their cognitive functions, then that is a very powerful tool to use.
Well, funny enough, a guy, I went with a friend to go they went car shopping. Yeah. And there was a guy that used the Big Five on me.
Oh, really?
He was to figure me out. Yeah.
Oh.
And I was like, what are you? He's like, you're getting a sense of. He's building a rapport on me, a profile. All these guys are taught this kind of thing, this basic thing. And this is what makes me think that Big Five is probably better in terms of in the business world, more than MBTI has been pushed out because there's too much information about. There's too much there's needless information. It doesn't really tell you like how somebody on face value might fit into a company. If you're like somebody more agreeable, it's way better than
right. Much easier to tell those dimensions, right? Yeah. That's why I think a Big Five is more fruitful in that sense. Yeah. It's more closer to practicality in the terms of you don't have to go through all this rigor and. Because basically with MBTI, we're trying to basically recreate this or to create this system alongside.
MBTI. The thing is, MBTI,
else.
you have to build. You have to go through so many layers of like. Because there's a superficial layer of like the basic binary functions, like the one person was saying, but really the meat and potatoes is all in the cognitive functions and the way they stack and stuff. And,
but if you're a car guy, you just want to know if somebody's agreeable or not, or something like that. You just got that.
Yeah,
one
you need to build
you
need to build the impression right away. You're not going to spend all this time. Is he using this? Like the way you type MBTI, at least objectively typed me. You were like, you need to spend.
Wrong.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You need to spend more time with me. Like there's a bigger time component when you're looking at how somebody is using their functions,
right?
Or what functions they use. As opposed to maybe Big Five, which is more, right away you kind of build a sense of what the person is doing or how they are.
Let's start wrapping it up here, Juan. I want to check and see the Discord real quick since I'm actually looking at the chat now. I want to see the types. We got INFPs, INTPs, INTJ allegedly, PIMP, that's what's up, ISTJ, NFJ, INTJ. Nice. We got a lot of N types, intuitives.
Yeah, Bubble Puppy said Big Five is MBTI as thermodynamics is statistical mechanics.
That's pretty funny.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I've always said MBTI is like a decent
Enneagram. Someone asked Enneagram. Go ahead.
I feel like MBTI is like, to me, has always been in physics we always use like first order approximations, like good enough approximations of a certain picture or something, right?
Say again.
Like in physics, we always use a good enough approximation, like a first order approximation of something.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what MBTI is. Now you can add more. You can add second order corrections, quote unquote.
Sure,
to this.
sure.
but you have to add a little bit more information, or include more information to elucidate your system or something.
Let me see. Hold on. Somebody's pointing out. Richard Smith is he's pointing to Joe. Says, if you're taking it for a company to have, you can skew your answers to make you more agreeable and such. Yes, you can. If you don't understand the system, you can type yourself any way you want.
Sure.
But also that's why people mistype themselves all the time, because when they're, feeling down or they're feeling happy or they just organize the room or something, then they start typing themselves in a messed up, upside down way. That's why I say I don't really believe anyone's MBTI type they self-type unless they've done it like 10 times. Mm-hmm. And then you have to read the type descriptions to really know. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and and someone's saying, hold on.
Yeah, so Terrence is getting chat questions from the Discord.
Yeah, I'm getting the Discord. So
but if you want to drop questions in the YouTube chat, you can as well.
Yeah, so Ryan M says, do they really think Eric doesn't make his decisions by thinking, not feeling? This would make him a J, not a P? No, that's not the definition of thinking and feeling. You can be a T or a thinker or a feeler with J or P, and Eric most definitely does his answer or his thinking with TI, pretty damn certain. And also, Eric is 100% a perceiver. Have you seen how disorganized his original Portal Discord was?
You can always tell, like, you probably get a lot of introverted thinking people, in the, how would you say, in the scientific world, because TI people are notorious for this, and I see this because I hate this within myself.
Oh, TI stereotype?
No, just TIs do this constant thing because I feel like I fall prey into this, but you rationalize everything. Like, you try to find reasons for everything, and sometimes you can bullshit yourself. And Richard Feynman,
a classic ENTP.
Well, that's what he says, but the thing is, he's not alive.
Pretty damn sure.
He's not alive to really take the test now, is he, Terrence? The thing is...
I don't need the test, bro.
A good quote that he's always said, he's like, you can always fool yourself into thinking...
Or it was something along the lines like,
it's easy
you are
to
the easiest
yourself.
person to fool.
Yeah, but it's because of this. It's a classic double-edged sword of introverted thinking. You can always bullshit yourself into thinking something.
So I guess let's start winding it down here, Juan, and let's ask people if you guys have any final questions or thoughts. Go ahead and throw them in the YouTube or the Discord, and
Aaron kind of put it succinctly. Statistical utility of MBTI. There's 16 categorical values. I need 15 columns of mostly zeros and some big ones. Big 5 is 5 variables falling between 0 to 1. Yeah, much more powerful prediction. I would say much more powerful for practicality. I don't know if Big 5 gives you an entire...
Yeah, I find it lacking.
A full picture of who the person, like the depth of the person.
Yeah. I've never been super stoked with
my
Big
bad,
5.
Aaron. It was meant to be a response to Daniel, but nevertheless, a great point. I win. Okay, sometimes arguments are about winning. It's about learning, man. It's not.
There must definitely be some NTs in there.
Yeah, they're definitely
in the chat.
So, any last questions from the?
Discord? Guys, Discord people. Any last questions, comments? We're reading the chat right now. I'm not staring at my.
Hi, Mike. By
texts.
the way, I don't know if that's the Mike that I know back home, but that's cool. So yeah, anyway.
It seems like they're just all kind of having at it.
Well, you know what?
I think that's pretty sufficient there.
I'm gonna walk away saying I don't agree with anything that I've said previously in this game. just like
I
just said
all
this. This was all devil's advocate.
Yeah, I guess we should put that disclaimer for anybody who just joined. We are physicists. We don't know shit about psychology. This is like our fun thing that we've noticed and do a lot in our free time. Basically, it's like when we're not looking at equations and shit like that.
We're not doing one-dimensional Dirac delta potentials.
We're fucking around with MBTI, and this shit's fun. I've been doing it for like 15 years. How long you been doing it, Juan?
Anytime that I go in the restroom, I just Google MBTI and I'm sitting until my legs fall asleep. So no, I'm kidding.
And if you guys want to hop on the MBTI bandwagon, by all means,
it's
I would say do it. It's fun.
I just think it provides more depth. I don't know if it like Aaron is saying. I think one of the Aaron Hall is saying. I think the thing you need to walk away from, because I think the Big Five is being compared to MBTI overall.
Yeah.
To put a little nice bow to the end of the conversation, would be that the Big Five is useful in the practical sense. It's more useful in the practical sense.
My take is I bet Big Five is going to win today,
Mm.
but I think MBTI is going to win the future.
Mm-hmm.
That's my take. I think Big Five's great, but I don't think it's going to beat it in the long run.
Aaron said, "Talk neuroticism or extroversion, consciousness."
Oh, these are the Big Five dimensions. Don't know. I didn't prepare enough for Big Five, Aaron, so I can't speak on it.
Yeah,
I just want to keep it limited just to MBTI.
but that's
maybe another time we could.
maybe we could do it.
And also, guys, all you people who are unfamiliar with us, we have a podcast every week, so make sure you subscribe if you're already here. And we occasionally talk about MBTI. Also, check out our physics videos. So yeah, and I think that's it. Let me just check the Discord one last time.
No, but it's fun. I unfortunately don't know too much about.
Someone's
About
rattling
Big Five.
there.
Yeah,
Mike?
Yeah. But anyways, next time for sure. Because I mean, the Big Five. There's a couple more tests out there, and it might serve to do a survey of sorts.
Yeah.
Of all the more popular ones, because I know, like Aaron is saying, MBTI has been sort of left in the dust, meaning that there hasn't been enough progress made.
Right. Right.
To pushing our level of understanding. So.
Yeah, so maybe in the future we can do a video on Enneagram, MBTI, Big Five comparisons, even like Motive or the other weird ass systems. So yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess that'll be.
Isn't there? Come on, there's got to be like a how would you say, a Saturday morning kind of like cereal box personality type testing.
Probably
But
like love languages or something.
Sure. What so
So
Disney,
check out love languages if you want some really shitty.
Or what Disney princess are you? Go take that test for me, guys. Which Disney princess are you?
Now I'm curious.
Yeah.
I gotta take that one.
I got Emperor Cusco from Emperor's New Groove.
I'm going with Mulan. I'm gonna be Mulan.
Technically a princess, but
all right.
Like if you talk, okay, one more question. Like if you
All right,
talk
we'll close it
neuroticism next time, we can ask what causes it. What does it cause? If I have it, can I do anything to improve on it? Oh, okay.
Great question.
Check out Talking
Take meds.
Yeah, check out Talking with Famous People channel if you get a chance. He's an ENTP, has interesting ideas on rating functions. Okay, all right, awesome. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, blah, blah, blah. Thank you, everybody else. Daniel.
Yeah, shout out to you guys. Respect.
Black Thoughts. Thank you so much.
And also the
and everybody
Discord
else.
folks. Richards.
Discord, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Thanks very much.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and signing off the YouTube.
Yeah. Have a great. Go take that Disney Princess test for me.
Yeah, guys.